بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على رسوله المصطفى وعلى عباده الذين ارتضى ومن بهداهم اهتدى وبآثار أهل المدينة اقتفى وبعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. There has been quite some talk regarding a mas'ala which is especially to do with the madh'hab of Imam Malik. I have been asked this on a number of occasions as well. Therefore, I would like to present a clarification as I have understood. The mas'ala is, what is the Mashour and the Rajih within the madh'hab of Imam Malik, and are we obliged to follow the Mashour? So I will explain this as I have understood it. I will give explanations, definitions for what I'm saying, and also brief evidences as I go along. I do accept that there may be that there is a difference of opinion amongst people. I also accept that people will choose to differ with what I've presented. وَفَوْقَ كُلِّ ذِي عِلْمٍ عَلِيمٍ. So the ruling, first of all, of following the Mashour within the madh'hab of Imam Malik. I do not believe that it is obligatory for any person that is a Muslim, or for any, being more specific, any person who is a Maliki madh'hab to follow the Mashour of the madh'hab. I do not believe it is obligatory. That is my understanding of the madh'hab. Now, in order to explain that, I will go into some definitions of, first of all, what does the Mashour actually mean? What does the term Rajih mean? How and who has said that we must follow these, and how have these rulings come about? Well, first of all, Rajih generally, means within language, ma rajah or ma tarajjah, that which preponderates, that which is more evident and more stronger in evidence, if you like to be technical about that. So the question is now, what does Mashour mean? Okay, the Mashour in the madh'hab has been given three definitions by the ulama. Now, the first, they will say that which is ma qawiya daliluhu, okay, that which is strong in terms of evidence. Now, this is the exact same definition given for the term rajih, ma qawiya daliluhu, that which is strong in evidence, or that which preponderates. This understanding has been supported by certain people within the madh'hab, like Al-Wansharisi. Ibn Bashir seems to favour that understanding. Ibn Khuwayz Mandad, Al-Uqbani, At-Tasuli, these type of people, these ulama seem to support this understanding that the Mashour is the Rajih, okay, within the madh'hab. And I know some later day ulama have also supported that. The second understanding is that Ibn Qasim, whatever he seems to transmit in the Mudawwanat al-Kubra, is the Mashour of the madh'hab. And you seem to see this understanding with a lot of especially the Andalusiyin and some of the Maghariba, amongst them Abu al-Walid al-Baji, Abu Bakr ibn al-Labbad, you have Abu al-Hasan al-Lakhmi, Ibn Abi Zayd al-Qayrawani, al-Qabisi. These ulama seem to support the understanding that whatever Ibn Qasim has transmitted in the Mudawwana is the Mashour of the madh'hab. Okay, so that's the second understanding. The third understanding is ma kathura qailuhu, that which has the most supporters, the opinion which is supported by the most ulama within the madh'hab, or especially of the muhaqqiqeen within the madh'hab, is what the Mashour is. And this is the view that Ibn Hajib seems to present. They say that the Mashour is that which has at least three people supporting it, three or more, and that is what Ibn Hajib supports. That's what Al-Adawi in his Hashiyah seems to go with. That's what Al-Qutb Dardir seems to present as the Mu'tamad in the madh'hab. Al-Rajraji seems to go with that, and other people as well. And there is a poem presented by As-Sanhaji, a scholar known by the name of Sanhaji, who says, he says, وَالْقَوْلُ إِنْ كَثُرَ مَنْ يَقُولُ بِهِ يُسَمَّ بِمَشْهُورٍ لَدَيْهِمْ فَانْتَبِهِ. And this is what seems to be really the popular, I know that's a bit ironic using the term mashhur, which means linguistically popular. seems to be the popular view, that it's either the second statement of it being the view of Ibn al-Qasim within the madhab, which I presented amongst the three, or the third, that it is that which is democratically supported. Okay. So first of all, I would like to say that we already have a clear difference and some turbulence in trying to establish what the mashhur of the madhab actually is. Okay, and we see that the madhab of Imam Malik for several centuries did not have a clear mashhur, if we want to go with what is the presented view within the madhab. So there was the school of the Iraqiyin who had their understanding, which was transmitted mainly from the Madni students or from their own legendary ulama like Ahmad ibn al-Mu'athil and Qadi Ismail and so on, who also favored the book of Ibn Abd al-Hakam, the Mukhtasar, above the Mudawwana of Ibn al-Qasim. Then you had the Misriyin, and you've got the Maghariba and the Andalusiyin and so on, and the differences. So we find for the first few centuries within the madhab of Imam Malik, there is no regulation really of the madhab, that nobody can clearly tell what is the view within the madhab. We know that there are different riwayats. Then there comes an era after a few centuries, and this is, by the way, reflected in their fatwa. So when Ibn Abi Zayd al-Qayrawani is asked in his fatwa that regarding somebody who chooses the different opinions within the madhab, and he responded by saying, well, he said, if you entered a masjid or you went to a place and you saw one of the students of Imam Malik sitting here and you saw another one sitting there, would it make a difference who you went to? And you can see this type of free thought almost within that although they have the understanding of what they'd like to follow, but they recognize there is this diversity within the madhab that can be followed. And then you see a few centuries later, especially with the likes at the time of Ibn Rushd al-Jad and al-Mazari and these great legendary ulama at their type of time. So we're talking like especially by the 5th century, towards the ending of the 4th century Hijri and the 5th century, coming into the 5th century, we see that the Malikiya attempt to regulate the madhab almost. So there is this, perhaps Allahu A'lam, what was the reason that they did this, or what was the driving force behind it. Some people say it was in attempt to bring the madhab in line with the other madhabs that always had a mashhur that was quite neatly presented, if you like the Hanafiya and so on. Some people say it's perhaps more political. And we see this, like, for example, within the Andalusiyin, who start to have almost a statutory law that says that whenever they appoint a judge, they will say the judge must give the fatwa according to what Ibn al-Qasim, the riwayah of Ibn al-Qasim, taking that secondary stance which I presented. And even that was critiqued and criticized by many of the ulama, like Abu Bakr al-Tartushi, who said, he said, "At-tawliya sahiha," he said, "wa shart batil." He said, this condition is batil, we refuse to accept such condition. But I mean, coming back to, the madhab there was this effort to regulate the madhab and present a mashhur as in the opinion within the madhab. And there are many benefits for doing this. I mean, let me just very clearly say, I am not saying that the mashhur should not be taught and should not be presented as the mashhur in the madhab. This is a very useful and pragmatic approach in teaching the madhab to people. So saying, especially children or so on, people wanting to learn the madhab, or people coming new to the madhab, or people wishing to who wish to learn their fiqh, will do so by learning the mashhur of the madhab. And that is an excellent and an extremely wise and a prudent way and method to present the madhab to people. The question is not about that. The question is about, are we obliged to follow that ruling? That's what I'm discussing here. So first of all, for several centuries we do not have what is the mashhur of the madhab.